Let's get into this and more with Ross Gerber, the president and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki Investment Management. It's got $1.2 billion in assets under management. Ross, I want to start with Uber. You've got a relatively small stake in Uber, and it's really because you have former, Uber employees who are clients of yours. So you're not necessarily a big buyer of Uber stock, but still curious about your reaction because I know you watch the transportation space really closely here.
Yeah, I do. And by the way, we have $2.2 billion in stock, so I don't want anybody to think we lost $1 billion somehow.
Excuse me. Thank you.
That being said, no, it's okay. People watch this and they could panic. The Uber deal is what needed to happen for Uber to serve customers because they simply aren't filling demand right now. And on the other side, what you just said is so true. Cab drivers have just been kind of screwed over the last 5 years because the people who run the cab companies aren't tech savvy, and connecting the cabs, especially in New York, actually will probably substantially increase the value of a cab medallion, which had dropped a lot over the last 5 years. So I think this is a great deal for both parties, but I don't think it solves Uber's problem, which is they're basically in an unprofitable business.
So this news necessarily wouldn't make you a buyer of Uber shares?
No, it would more likely make me a buyer of a New York City cab medallion than Uber.
Wow. I mean, I think that says a lot. Hey, Ross, I want to get...
Well, when you're in New York, you need these cabs real bad,
Yeah, well, it's been really tough. I mean, the industry has been absolutely transformed in a relatively short time, too. I mean, and I also got to say, I remember just a few years ago, you were actually able to book a green cab using the Uber platform in New York. So you could actually book like an Uber taxi and it would show up. But still, I think, yeah, like you said, a transformational partnership. Hey, I want to move on to Tesla because shares of Tesla are rising again today, Ross. 8 days in a row is its current streak, its longest streak since January of 2021, when it rose 11 days in a row. We're now seeing it's at its highest level since January of 2022, trading at, look, right now, just about $1,000. I can't really see it, but
really
over 1,000. I'm really having to squint. Yeah, I guess I got to get my glasses checked here. So. Yeah. Are you buying at these levels, Ross, or are you holding at these levels?
Well, ironically, I couldn't believe that Tesla actually went down this much this year, and we were buyers at 750, 800 range. It was really a great opportunity. I tweeted yesterday, Tesla on sale, $999. So I'd love to buy Tesla under $1,000 a share. They couldn't have more good things happening at the same time for them. And obviously the war in Ukraine has put a really big spotlight on oil and the dependence in the United States on oil. We actually finance the worst governments in the world through our consumption of oil. So companies like Tesla are crucially important to weaning ourselves from financing the evil people of the world. It's just an awesome opportunity to invest in a great company, but also doing great things.
And how do you feel about the competitive landscape right now? Because we mentioned, we had the Nikola Analyst Day yesterday. Wall Street certainly cheered about that. Let's also talk about Lucid, Rivian in there. I mean, how does Tesla stack up right now?
Well, it's just like Apple. Tesla's now become the Apple of the EV business, and there will be Tesla and there will be everybody else. So I don't look at Tesla as having competitors. I look at it more like the demand for EVs was already big, but now it's doubled in the last 2 months, or really in the last month since oil prices and the war. So really any company that can make and produce EVs will sell EVs. And we're seeing this with Porsche right now, and another company we're invested in called Polestar, which is Volvo's EV company, which is also producing a lot of cars and doing very well. So if you can produce a car, you're going to be successful. And so there's no competition for any EV company against an EV company. It's really, can oil-based car companies compete with price and long-term value with the EVs? And the answer is no at this point. So it's a great time to be an EV business that can produce cars.
Ross, I just want to end with something that you tweeted yesterday that got a lot of attention. You tweeted that Bob Chapek, there's the tweet right now, is the worst Disney CEO over LGBTQ plus issues. You said that Disney needs a CEO with a moral compass, not some operations guy. It's time to bring Bob Iger back. Explain your thinking here.
Well, I'm a big Bob Iger fan, so that's my fantasy. I don't think that's going to be a reality. But my thinking is this: Disney is one of the most I would say liberal leaning, progressive entertainment companies in the world, and the way they've educated young people through their movies to be more tolerant of different people and belief systems, I think is an admirable part of the Disney message. And it's been this way in entertainment for a long time, in educating people on social values. So it's really disappointing to see such an easy thing to be against. The politicians politicizing people's human rights, and then to see a weak response from Disney, I think was inexcusable. And I think Disney should take a very harsh response against any people in any state that are making restrictive laws that will hold people back from accepting people's differences. I think a lot of people want to jump to conclusions like, oh, the teacher's going to be teaching, weird stuff to our kids who are 8. That is not what this is about. And it's about discrimination. And I think people need to look through what's going on and not just have this immediate reaction. Secondly, in my school system, we have the same issues, but by all means, and I'm in a very liberal part of the country here in Southern California. And as parents, we bring our concerns to the school administrators and principal, and they're very receptive. I don't understand why politicians need to be involved with this. So I'm very disappointed that Chapek continues to, waffle around versus taking a strong line. And let me tell you, you're going to get criticism. I get criticism all the time for the views I have, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me, but I respect other people's opinions too. But what we need in this country is more listening and more understanding, not more restrictive laws and discrimination. So I think that's really my point. For a company like Disney, it should be an easy call for them.